of you are there on our live streaming. Just to give you a brief about myself before we get into the session, I am Manprit Kh. I'll be your facilitator for this 1 hour, and I'll be taking up this topic. My experience lies in that I have got almost 18 years of experience in this field, where I'm a certified trainer for soft skills. Anything that comes under the umbrella of behavioral and soft skills, I am qualified to deliver sessions. I work across the globe for multiple IT companies in telecom sector, and I try and understand the issues of professionals and help them in developing competencies. So this is how this program was designed, keeping in mind that these days people are struggling to keep the pace up when it comes to professional life, when it comes to time management, and I would rather say self-management and productivity, because I have got plethora of questions in recent days only that Manpreet, how to keep our focus intact, how to be productive, how to not to get deviated, how to work within the decided timeline or committed timeline. So yes, I thought let's so I've decided with the team, and I thought this is the best program to begin with. So yeah, so team, we are here to start the session. And Krishan, Prashant, Siva, can you just unmute and say hi to me so that I know you are there? Kishan, Prashant, Siva. Okay, I'm not sure if you can hear me. So, team, though this program was designed for a two-way communication program, but I cannot see people being responding. So let's go ahead. Let's see in between if people would be interested to talk it out or to speak on the questions which I ask. Otherwise, I'll go in a one-way webinar way. So we'll see how it goes. Since this topic, I have taken time management and productivity. The first thing my responsibility lies in that what all we'll be covering. We'll be covering to understand the strategies for prioritization, because at times people struggle there, how to prioritize, as I said, how to manage time. And then there are times that it is very important, or rather, I would say imperative, to identify time wasters. What are our time wasters? What are those factors which put us in a difficult situation and we are unable to complete our task? And those what we call as a productivity barriers. So how to overcome that, and we will be working on that. And then of course we'll be learning techniques and tools which we can easily apply at our workplace and in our personal life also, because time management is something called, I always say, power skills. It's not just related to professional skill, but it's a power skill, human skill. So anything, the tools and techniques which we'll be learning today, it can be easily applicable at your in your personal life too, along with your professional life. So this is what we'll be covering, and I hope that is sorted for all of us. People who are here, Kishan, Siva. Okay, not sure. Sareem, the first thing is, if anybody who are looking into the slide, you can easily see I have put in on the top, it's written the daily audit. So where when we talk about our daily routine and we get so occupied, I always ask people that uh, by the end of the day, you should analyze that. Two things you probably did something productive, whether it was yesterday or if you don't get time in the evening, but you can easily go to the next day and analyze that, okay, what are the two things I did which made me proud and I've been very productive, which helped me put everything as per what I have decided, as per my committed, decided timeline. And because the moment we realize that, oh, these are the two things which I worked, and that has given me a clear-cut result, the outcome what I wanted. That gives us a sense of achievement. Immediate, it boosts our confidence, and that helps us to understand that, okay, we are on the right track, we are on the right path. And the second important thing is that whether you sit with yourself in the evening or if you don't get time next day, think about any two things that drained your time. When I say drained your time, which means that was actually not required, but you put your energy into it, you invested your time into it. Maybe it was unnecessary, something which some preparing some document or preparing some report which was not as important as it is, though it can be easily done next week also. Or maybe something which is absolutely unproductive, maybe you just putting your investing your time and energy into social media, unnecessary, as we call it, as scrolling the reels. People are hooked to it to these days. Or part of some meeting which where your presence was not required, and maybe you were filling some space. I always say that there is something that is filling your calendar or filling your heart. So it's the whole concept is like that, that two things that made you feel that you were yesterday, or you were in the since morning you have been working, which made you more productive, which made you fill your heart, and then something which has completely drained your energy, unnecessary, where your presence was not required, your time was not required, and that is just to fill up those calendar. Once you start analyzing it, once you start bringing this, making this as a category, then you will realize that, okay, now when I will be moving to the next day, what I need to change, because it's easy. It's easy for us when we put it into categories, when we put it into bracket, and when we realize ourselves, okay, these were the two, three things I completely doing something productive, and these were the two things which were completely off the chart, or which are completely draining my energy, which means I need to change here. I need to do something on that, whether I need to work on some technique, I need to work on some tool, or I need to learn something, some tags, as you all are here today in the session. So, yes, of course, then it's the time to think upon that what areas I need to work upon. Though I made this exercise keeping in mind that people would be interacting here, but I can't see people unmuting. So let's go ahead. But in case any one of you, I would really want you can take a screenshot of it, and can keep it with you, so that once this training will be over, and then you can easily once this training will be over, you can easily work on it. Uh, I think Patil, if I can see the message also, Siva is mentioning I'm not able to unmute. Patil, can you help me on that?
Yeah, I've enabled it, Manprit now.
Okay, okay. Siva, now you can unmute. Just check your
Yes, yes.
microphone.
Thank you. Thank you, Manya. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Siva, you want to say something? You want to add something which we have so far, what we
Uh,
discussed?
no, no, no. Actually, when you asked me to ask us to unmute, we tried, but we could.
Okay,
That's why. Yeah.
okay.
If anything, definitely, I will. We will unmute and ask our questions. Yeah. Thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you. Okay, moving forward, something which I have come up with is for the people that there's a list which I prepared, and I want you to think through. I want you to go through this list, which says that if you see on the top, it says external or internal distractions, and it says identifying the time wasters. And I really would want you to ponder your thoughts on that, where you struggle the most. So I've categorized certain distractions based on external distraction or internal distractions, where if you see the external one, it says constant notification. At times we are working on the desk and we are working in front of our laptop, and then there are clients who are bothering us, maybe, or there are people who are like bothering us, want unnecessary updates from us in the project, what is going on, and maybe we have already informed them that we'll keep them updated, but still these things really put our productivity on the toss, and then unnecessary, and because we have to acknowledge and we have to keep on replying them, and then we see a lot of unnecessary meetings are scheduled, though even if we are working from remote areas or within the office premises or work from home, but then sometimes some ad hoc situation come in, and then this was not planned, this was not a part of a to-do list, and then it really makes become an interruption, or a kind of it, maybe it kind of puts us totally into mismanaged thing, and then at times wherever as a surroundings or logistic part also become a distraction, or of course social media, as I mentioned earlier. And then the second list is based on internal distraction. Sometimes we are something chaotic we are stuck into, whether it's internal conflict, whether it's some lack of motivation, or some appraisals were due, or some office conflicts happen, or personal things and mental fatigue. And these are the leading outcome for that, what we go through. And this keeps us away from our focus, and our focus gets jeopardized. And then the third is, which I stumble upon a lot of times when I talk to people, when this topic comes in. So they say the productivity barriers are procrastination happens, multitasking. Oh, multitasking is something which people keep on sharing with me, that how they have been putting so much, draining their time so much into multitasking that they are unable to focus on one thing. So that is one. And yeah, I'm giving you all a few seconds, though I've just read this all through, but then still giving you all few seconds. Glance through this, and anyone would want to reply, whether Siva, now you want to try it out, or anyone who has joined here and would like to answer that. Which one do you think you struggle the most? I can see a few names added here: Srinivasan, Sachin, Kishan, Prashant, Siva. Anyone would like to share some thoughts on it, that which one you struggle the most with? Okay. Again, I would suggest take a pic of this or screenshot of it and then keep it with you handy, so that once you go back after this session today, just put your thoughts into it and see which one you struggle the most, because that's your area of evolvement. That's where you need to work the most. First thing first is always self-awareness, that which particular area I'm most bothered about when it comes to that reduces my focus or that puts me into procrastination. So just be aware of that, because once you are aware, once the self realization comes in, and then only you will be able to crack that hack, that, okay, now how to overcome that. So yeah, I guess there are few techniques which I have come prepared with today, that how these things, if any of the things which is mentioned in the list, or apart from any of the other reasons which you can think upon, uh, there are few techniques which can help you to overcome those distractions, whether it's internal, external, or any productivity barrier. There are few things which can easily help you to overcome. And if you see the slide, tools like Eisenhower time boxing and to-do list to prioritize, and we'll cover all these things one by one. Let's take up the first one, is Eisenhower Matrix. If anyone is aware about that, please put it in the chat. If you don't want to unmute, but you can all easily put it in the chat if you want to share something or you want to ask something. Uh, so yeah, Eisenhower is a very popular matrix, which if any such topic like productivity or time management comes into the frame, this first thing every facilitator, every trainer would talk about is Eisenhower, which is nothing but it is based on something called urgent and important matrix, where the tasks are required to be categorized in according to, if we all are corporate, from the corporate world, we know the definition of, we try and understand the definition of urgent and important. Like something urgent, which means it requires immediate attention, and something important, which means it requires planning, it requires thoughts, it requires coordination. So yeah, that we have to understand now. Prashant, I read your question, how to manage the multiple tasks in office. One by one, we'll cover all this. So just be there in throughout the session. You will get your answer. Yeah. So yes, through this matrix, through this tools, you will able to handle it very well. If you can see the screen now, again, back to the screen. Let's see, when we talk about this whole matrix, Eisenhower matrix, it says, uh, I'll keep totaling between this slide to this slide because it is all connected. So if you see, there are four quadrants in this Eisenhower matrix, where Q1, we call it quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. When we talk about quadrant 1, it says urgent and important tasks with clear deadlines and consequences for not taking immediate action, which is something urgent and important. And if I go back to the slide, Something which is urgent and important means it requires immediate attention, be it some meeting, ad hoc meetings, or something, some report supposed to be prepared and to be submitted today, some escalation happen, or probably anything that requires your immediate and attention and immediate submission. So that is what is like, you have to do this, right? And then we talk about quadrant two, which is not urgent and but important. Maybe the tasks which are scheduled, which have, as you are progressing on the project, maybe the next phase of the project, how you plan and how you have to coordinate with other cross-functional teams, and how do you have to sit with your own manager or with your team and to discuss the vision of the project, or probably how you go up to the next phase. If there is any, if you're from an IT company, then there is bug fixation. If you're from any manufacturing company, how to design. So everything that requires planning. Maybe the submission can be done later on, though something which is related to your long-term goals. To submit the complete final delivery. Usually people say that when we are working on this Q2 things, higher chances that we procrastinate, because we know that, okay, this is supposed to be done next week. Oh, this meeting with the team, this is supposed to be done maybe by the end of the month. Oh, we have another 20 days to submit it. So people easily procrastinate. And when people procrastinate, thinking in mind that this is not quite immediate, once that last days of the month would come, or once that after 20 days submission is just 2 days due, automatically things will move to Q1, where it becomes a deadline all of a sudden. It becomes, oh my God, we have to submit this by the in next 2 days, because earlier the things were not being given too much importance. So that's why now it has shifted to Q1, urgent and important, and then higher chances that somebody is doing something on the 11th hour, on the last moment. Chances of critical errors are higher in Q1. So yeah, that's why we always say that when we talk about something on Q2, if I talk about this, tasks that are important for long term but don't require immediate attention or action, but still take few steps, take baby step towards them. Like if you still know that, okay, something is supposed to be submitted after 20 days, start today only. When you even have maybe half an hour from your bandwidth, start doing something towards that. Maybe even if you have tomorrow some meeting gets cancelled and you know that, okay, it gets abundant and you have half an hour to 40 minutes available, start working towards any task which is planned for next week, which is already been planned for after 20 days or in the last days of the month. Why? Because you do not want any such task to be easily moved to Q1 and the hassle starts. You don't want that panic. You don't want that hustle to happen. So, and then there are ways also to manage that I will share in next few minutes of this entire session. And then we call it something called Q3, which if I go back to this slide, which you know that, okay, maybe which is urgent, but not that important. Maybe where your presence is as such not required as of now. Maybe some meeting where either if you have a team, one of your team members can be a part of that meeting, and your presence is not required. Rather, your presence is required somewhere else, which may require not directly your skills, but you have backup with you. Maybe you have people who can work. Now, if you are at a leading position, or you are at a decision-making position, you can easily delegate that task. If you are not at a leading position, then there is something called, we call it as that, that your bandwidth does not allow. You are already working on many things. You are a part of a critical task and a critical project. And then something ad hoc comes in, and you have that understanding that one of your team members can easily do it on your behalf, or you have a backup to do it. It's important that speak up to your manager and discuss Give them the alternative. Do not just go and discuss that I don't want to do it. Do not just go and discuss in a very rude manner that, oh, you know that I am already occupied and I don't have a bandwidth. There is a way to say it. There is a way to tell them that give them alternative, that give them logical reason plus alternative along with it. That, since I am a part of, since I'm a part of a critical project and I'm working on this specific task and this ad hoc comes in and I understand. However, we all know that there is this person we have a backup and this we can give this task and probably if I can submit this tomorrow or day after. So the quality or the competency of saying no with giving a logical reason and alternative, if you are not at a leading position, that's how you manage this Q3, right? And then delete it, which is Q4, which we say is something which is neither urgent nor important, that may not require your attention at all. And coming back to unnecessary, if we are in the office gossips, politics, we all understand that, but it's very hard to not to get trapped under that. So yeah, I guess we need to work on that too. So Q4 is absolute no, 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 no. And Q3 is where if you are at a lead, I'm reiterating what I mentioned in Q3 is if you are at a leading position, if you think delegation can be done, not unnecessary delegation, I would suggest. But if you think, okay, you're not in a leading position, but at least go to your manager and seniors and lead to tell them that, oh, I can take this up but however, since I'm working on this. So you're giving a logical reason along with alternatives. So this is how you handle it. And that's why we always say, if you see this, I want all of you to click a picture of this slide and take a screenshot if possible, like Q1, Q2, Q3. I've given an example. Though I've given an example already, but just for yours so that it can become handy for you all. Yeah, so you can handle this way. And what I expect from you all is that after this session today, though this was a very much a part of the session, I wanted few people to be proactive and interacting with me. Anyone? Siva, Vijay, Prashant, who just joined in? Anyone who'd like to? Do you have any questions? Srinivasan, Sai, Sachin, Prashant, Mahendra. I can see few names added.
No questions.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, if you want how to use this metric, so list all your tasks, evaluate each task for your urgency. What I expect is that after this session, list down your task which you're supposed to do tomorrow and put them into categories. Whether they are under Q1, they are under Q2, they are under Q3 or Q4. And then see for yourself that, okay, if it's Q1, whether it was actually Q1, all of a sudden it came in, or it turned out to be a Q1 because it was not being given attention when it was required, which means that's where you have to work upon. If anything that is Q2, so realize that you still have few days for that task. So how you can put it your efforts step by step and not making them shifting to Q1. Q3, anything that you have Q3 coming, if you're in a leading position. So I've already explained that. And Q4, you're not supposed to give that much time. Now, there is something called, this is what we talk about Eisenhower. And the second thing we talk about is to-do list. When we say to-do list, usually people come up with the answers like, that, okay, we just have to write the tasks and we have to write that maximum at what time we have to complete that task. But then there is more to that. There is more to how we call it. If you see the columns here, and if you see the first row, it talks about the task, usually how people write it. And then with each in front of every task, I have also mentioned the priority as per the Eisenhower, whether it is Q3, it is Q2, it is Q3, it is Q1, I've given that, categorize them. Then status, it's in progress. There are few status you can give to them. It's in progress. if it's in progress, okay, you need to work upon that. So it's a to-do list for tomorrow. Let's say, for example, we all have prepared this. I have prepared this to-do list for myself tomorrow. So I have to prepare reports. I have to follow up with the client. I'm working on a project IMI. I have a team meeting. I have to confirm to a manager about some plans. I know that these are the status in progress. Completed, of course, I will put in when I know that I have completed it because it will give me a sense of achievement. But then, let's say I come tomorrow and I will start my office and it's in progress and I have given very important. If you see the column, I have written time estimation. Now, when I say time estimation, in my mind, I know that, okay, this report I've already started working on. It may take another 30 minutes to complete. So I'm giving a time box. And this concept is from some well-known books I have taken from. It says, okay, in my head, I know that this will be completed in 30 minutes. And I'm preparing it in the evening today. And then that's how I have put in estimation time in front of every task. When I start my office tomorrow, let's say tomorrow Friday, and I start my shift at 9:30, I started with the first task, prepare reports, and I realized that, okay, it has been the actual time of completion is 20 minutes. Which means, oh wow, okay, I thought it is 30 minutes, but then it gets completed in 20 minutes probably. Which means I have extra 10 minutes now in my today's what do you call curriculum, in my today's entire day, I have extra 10 minutes. And this also gives me a relief that if I am in a customer facing role, or if I am in a coordination role, or I have to follow up and all, in case any escalation would come, in case any client issue would come, in case any ad hoc meeting would come, in case any Q3 task would come, I have 10 minutes to handle that. I don't need to panic. I don't need to create a ruckus out of it because 10 minutes are free. Now, as the day progresses, I start and I have followed up. I had to do a lot of follow-ups with my clients and it is completed. Previous day, I have given this task that I will take another 45 minutes for this. But then eventually I went little up there. I went little ahead there and I spent 50 minutes for that, which means 10 minus 5. So I have at least not 10 minutes now, but 5 minutes with me extra. But I need to analyze that why I took extra 5 minutes for this. Was it because of some escalation went really towards it was a difficult conversation? Or was the task was complex, which means I need to work upon my proficiency? What was the nature of the task like that? Or I took extra breaks in between and that's why I took extra 5 minutes, which was not required, or I spent more time on Q4, which was not required. So you have to analyze that any task which I am giving 45 minutes and it is taking me 50 minutes, which means you need to have a stopwatch with you always for this. If it is taking 50 minutes or 55 minutes, going beyond my estimation time, I need to analyze why it went there. And if I'm doing something before or prior to my scheduled time, which means, oh, I can easily have the capacity and caliber to do these kind of tasks maybe earlier as per my estimation time. For the next time, whenever I'm doing the similar task, I don't have to give them, for example, for the first size, I don't have to, if I have to prepare a similar report next week also, which means I don't have to give 30 minutes, I can easily give 10, 20 minutes. And this whole status wise, if you go in your to-do list in progress, once it is completed, put complete, it gives you a sense of achievement. There are certain tasks which, maybe there was some knowledge transfer happened and then some transfer happened and supposed to happen, it completed. And then there are certain meetings which maybe you come to the office and you realize, oh, that client has canceled the meeting, or the guest has, whosoever been invited, they are not available. Maybe that meeting. So I'm talking about the second last task here. It was a 1 hour thing, and now it got abandoned and it got cancelled, which means now again I have extra 60 minutes minus 5 minutes. So you have to do this analyzation if you are already at a senior position. Brilliant. Like, you have to lead by example, because once you follow it, you'll start, your team also will start doing it. Being a leadership coach, I can vouch upon this. I am a leadership coach also. I give a lot of trainings for leaders for their productivity, for their time managers, and I do a lot of trainings for people who are at middle level management entry. Every time when they prepare these tasks, like, that's how, I guess, when Siva asked the question that, Manpreet, how we have to manage multiple tasks. When you have this with you, you'll able to handle it better. Yeah, so you'll able to handle that thing better, I would suggest. So this is second technique. I hope everybody is with me, everyone. Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions you can ask me? Anything you want to add? Okay. And then this is what I just explained. And again, any one of you can take a picture, please do that. Yeah, and this is exactly what I just explained. Your review parameter, your root cause analysis, everything what I've just explained, I've put it into the slide. So yeah, I've come prepared with an activity though, but here people are. Are you all good if I give you some task, everyone? Okay, I think we can bypass this, but then we can surpass this. It's just that the activity which I came prepared with, that I would want you to have at least 2 minutes or 3 minutes in between and see from A to Z, prepare some words which talks about productivity. For example, A starts for that anything. If you think some work requires automation that saves your time, so give me automation. B is batching. Maybe some batching means some similar kind of a task we put in one group, calendar block and all. So yeah, it's okay. It was fun. It was fun. But if you think you can go back and work on this task, sitting with your people and then work on this task, you can do that. Then there is something called, for time management and for productivity, there is something called, very well known though, Pomodoro Technique. When I say Pomodoro Technique, though, according to this technique for time management, this says that focus for 25 minutes and then take 5 minutes break. But as a trainer, I suggest you that you can easily maybe tweak this technique. Why? Because 25 minutes is too less to put your focus. Start with, and this is like almost like a commitment challenge. I have given this technique another name, which is called commitment challenge. Now, when I say commitment challenge, there are days where you feel that, okay, probably I'm unable to focus, too much going on in my head, too much going in the office, too much going at my home. Give yourself a commitment challenge. That, put a stopwatch in front of you, start a stopwatch for 1.5 hours, right? And for that 1.5 hours, start working on whatever task you have to do. And that why it is called commitment challenge, that whatsoever, if anything that doesn't seem very urgent, if anything if any email that does not require very urgent attention, if any call that does not require any urgency, I will not take that up. Rather, this is my way to put my focus on the task which I am working on, whether it's preparing a presentation, it's preparing a report, it's to be a part of one meeting, or anything, or preparing some project or some timelines, anything you're working on, you're not supposed to go anywhere before 1.5 hours. Once that 1.5 hours alarm would tick in, then take a break for about 5-10 minutes, not more than that. Again, come back, set the timeline for again 1.5 hours, or whatever your focus span is. My focus span is 1.5 hours in one go. or for few people I have come across, their focus span is 2 hours, not more than 2 hours, I would suggest. Minimum 1 hour 15 minutes. You can go up to 1 hour 30 minutes, and you can max go to 2 hours. And after that, yeah, go away from the screen. Now, go away from your laptop screen does not mean that put yourself into phone screen and start doing something, which is Q4. Yeah, so you have to focus on that. And once you start doing this step, like one by 1.5 hours, take a break, 1.5 hours, take a break. After you've completed your almost like the entire way for, because this helps you to put your focus, because you're giving something to yourself as a commitment challenge. So that is what Pomodoro technique is all about. Do that, try it out. I'm sure if many of you have tried it who are listening to me. If not, you can try this to-do list. You can try to put in Eisenhower. You can try this Pomodoro technique. And then there are some things which we always say. If you see the second bullet point where I have written the 2-minute rule, which says that any task which you think requires your minimum like it does not require more than 2 minutes, rather it requires less than 2 minutes, do that immediately. Any message response, do that. Any email response where you just need to acknowledge it, you're not supposed to put too much of thoughts into that email, do that. You need to make a call to a client, and just as a reminder, it requires just another 2 minutes, do that. If it's a part of your to-do list, rather than putting them into a procrastination list, or rather than putting them into a delaying mode, do it which has less than 2 minutes, because I have seen people unnecessary rescheduling it, procrastinating it, and doing it, and it's a burden now, almost. It's like a pile up thing. So yeah, apply these things for that. Also, I have a question for you all. I have a question for you all, if anybody is interested to answer. Does this happen to any one of you, where there are some days where you do not feel like working, but then since we all are corporate people and we cannot just, though at times we say, I recommend that, okay, if you think you have that leverage to take a break of a half a day or a day, if your organization allows you to do that, if your manager is lean, if you have that kind of a leverage, take a break and then come back again with a complete scene. But if you think, no, Manprit, this is not practical, how can you even suggest that just we have to talk to a manager and say break? If that's not possible, not possible. Uh, do you have any such days where you don't feel like working, but you know that you have a plethora of work to complete? Anyone? You can drop me a message also in the chat that if you have any such days where you felt that, okay, possibly I don't want to work. My focus is completely off. Because these
A week. Uh, Once I always just have, and thanks, I have that privilege to just go up to some time and come back and just start
Hmm.
working. That just really productive. That gives, again, once you come back again, or
Hmm.
sometimes it's a small nap actually, which works very good for you.
Hmm.
So for working from home, that's sometimes gives
Hmm.
you very good leverage to just
Hmm.
again be productive and just be on a full swing
Hmm. Hmm.
and hit that.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you have that leverage, because I can also take that leverage. And yeah, power nap is good. Maybe half a day break away completely off the chart of completely off the laptop. I even send my messages to my clients. See, next half a day, I don't have a laptop with me. So yeah.
Yeah, in a Teams, you can just mention that I'm just out for this time, and
Yeah.
you can just
Hmm.
drop a message that just works.
Hmm. 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 No, absolutely. I guess many of us have that leverage, many of us won't have. But my suggestion to people who have that leverage, take a off half a day, complete day, absolutely, a power nap, whatever works for you. I have come across people who believe in soul satiating. The concept of soul satiating is that for that complete day, they do not touch the laptop, but they do something which satiates their soul. Maybe it's about they get into mindfulness activities, whether it's yoga, meditation, or completely workout, or probably spending time in nature. Or even if they love music, they either listen to their favorite music, or if they are into playing any instrument, they do that, or spending some time with loved ones. That also, dopamine and everything. If that works for you, if that you have that liberty, or you can.
yeah, go sometimes out in nature or just
Yeah.
some workout, come back,
Mm,
get
mm,
fresh, start
mm,
again. Yeah,
mm,
it's very
mm.
good productivity boost.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, in case if you do not have, if you think possibly I don't have that leverage, I cannot, then I would suggest if you see the first bullet, I have written divide the day into 2 hours. Now this bifurcation game, it is, I call it a bifurcation game. Why? Consider that okay, this is very important day and your focus is absolutely not there and you're completely deviated and getting digressed very easily because a lot of things going on around in personal life and otherwise also because of some internal distractions. Think that this day today when you today get up, the day is only for 2 hours. The sun will set after 2 hours. Hypothetically, of course, this is not practically possible on Earth, but then um, 2 hours. I have only 2 hours with me. 9:30 if your office starts. Example, 11 till 11:30, whatever the most important task you have to do, whether it's one task or two in the to-do list, priority, do that. That's it, 2 hours. Go away for about 15, 20 minutes. And then consider that, okay, now it's again a next day. Again, from 1 o'clock, it's again a next day. The sun again is there rising, and then I have to complete my task in another 2 days because 2 hours because I have 2 hours day left with me. Once you keep doing this 2 hours bifurcation, split your day into 2 hours, it helps you to put your focus back. Even if you do not want to, it will help you. Again, it's almost similar to Pomodoro, but then here the intent is different. The intent is not just going out for a break, but the intent is to consider that my day is just for 2 hours. And then at times, I would suggest, though I have not written it somewhere, but then there is something called Energy Barometer. Energy Barometer, the concept says, I've read it somewhere, I'm not sure which book, because I keep reading these books and I keep getting these things from books. Energy Barometer says that, and each one on its own. When you get up in the morning and you start your office, analyze rather, that if you start with the most difficult task in the morning, and by the time it's almost like a lunch time or half a day already gone, how is your energy? Are you feeling drained? Are you feeling energetic? Because why I'm saying so, for some people, when they start with the most difficult task, they feel that, oh wow, okay, wherever the focus was required, the task is now done in the first half only. And now I can easily get into the easiest tasks and it just doesn't require too much of energy. So I'm easy to go. But for few people, when they start with easy tasks, their energy goes by high till because they want to start with easiest tasks. They're like, okay, in the morning we don't have that much of energy. We just want to get into the flow of the work. So by the time it's 1 o'clock, then they feel okay. Now the energy is up, and now I can take the task which requires my attention, which requires which requires a lot of my attention. Okay, Yogesh mentioned, I think book name is Eat Your Frog. Maybe I'm not sure though, I can't commit. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for the reference. Uh, so yeah, I guess that's where you have to analyze and keep rotating this analyzation for your own good. Why? Maybe you are in that zone as that phase of your life where when you start with difficult task and by the time it's 12 o'clock and your energy gets drained, do it 7 days. If you have that leverage, 7 days break or thing, that for first 7 days, starting from tomorrow, for next 7 days, start analyzing for yourself that if I start my day with difficult task, by the time it's 12:30 by Indian Standard Time or 1, how does my energy look like? And can I move some task after 7 days? Can I move some task in the morning? And then I see that what would be my energy like. Start doing it for you, and nobody will do it on your behalf. You have to do it. Make a log, make a complete log that ways. Because see, whatever I am training you on today, these concepts, these tools, you can easily get on YouTube. You can easily, these days we have all AI, ChatGPT, Copilot, everything. But eventually you have to put your efforts, you have to follow, you have to make log to analyze your energy barometer. You have to make your to-do list based on the columns which I mentioned. You have to find giving you time yourself a time commitment challenge. You have to put your Eisenhower matrix very categorically. You have to manage your social media breaks. That's what I am discussing. The third bullet point here is social media breaks. And yeah, it's important. I'm not saying it's not important. Give again a time limit. 15 minutes means 15 minutes. And it reminds me of that dopamine. So I come from the era where um, I used to use this Nokia phone, and then there was this game, Snake game. And I remember while I was pursuing my English literature as my honors course, and I remember during my exams, these days we are maybe back, we are into this social media breaks. That time we were into snake game breaks. So what I used to do is that, okay, during my examination, okay, my first chapter is completed, second chapter is completed, third chapter is completed. After 3 chapters, I will play game for 15 minutes. So this is I used to like for 15 minutes. Okay, I have this 15 minutes with me. I have to use the maximum out of it, and I used to play this snake game on Nokia. Or I give myself this treat that okay, now 5 chapters are completed. I have to switch on my TV and I have to go to play MTV, and I have to watch some like songs. Can do this now. If you think okay, that is also one of the things that is giving you procrastination. Give yourself some reasons to enjoy that. What do you think? So yeah, so that's how.
I have a question here.
Yeah.
I come from the second option in the energy barometer where
Hmm.
I like to just solve the simpler tasks first.
Hmm.
And I see the volume, oh, I have just done like this. Okay, then,
Hmm.
okay, the difficult one, just sort this out.
Hmm. Hmm.
And sometimes it happens while sorting the difficult one, my energy drains down and I just postpone it for the other day. And sometimes if for the other day, if you don't have the simpler task, if you have this task only left, yeah, that works good. And sometimes what happens, you assume it to be it will take more time. Sometimes it doesn't take time and it just solves very quicker. That leverage sometimes I get and I enjoy that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we sometimes that breaks. Of course, that just makes you good. And slowly you can just develop your focus time. And one time it will be somewhat like that. You are so much focused that you don't know what's happening, and you complete and your day gone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Of course, if you have a leverage. Also, I recommend at times people share with me that Manpreet, it's step by step. That today we are doing first step of that task, and second task, and third step, and that's how. Then we know we have 3 days, 4 days, so we complete it in 3 days. I guess that's what, yeah. So that works. Split.
I enjoyed that game very much. Yeah, of course, for time, of course, we just do something and come back again. And yeah, that is was the only game in hand actually what we can just play with the
Yeah,
mobile
yeah.
phones.
No, that was a thing at that time, and even the MTV thing also. That okay, I wanted to play that MTV after every 5 chapters. So again, going back to that, so everything comes from what we used to do in our earlier days. I guess it's pretty much still aligned with us, still holds the relevance, and that we can easily put it in some or the other way. So thank you. I guess you have given a great reference, and I'm glad. And I would expect more people to speak up, but that's okay. um, Great. And then, as I mentioned, so yeah, the fourth to-do list. So this is what I wanted to share throughout this whole session, and be it, I'm just giving you a kind of a recap. Uh, that and also, yeah, last thing I've mentioned, sorry, I forgot to say, each day with a quick reflection, what worked and what didn't. This is a very, very important thing to do. If you have that much time. And why I'm saying that much time is because you need to take that out time and see for yourself what didn't work and what worked for me the entire day. If you really would want to work on your time management skills, productivity skills, and doing that, so work on that. At what worked today. Again, going back to the same question which I put in the very first slide, the daily audit routine. So that really helps. And taking you back to the slide, which we covered. So be it the audit, or be it this identifying the time wasters, and then Eisenhower, and then of course this quadrants and this to-do list, and with time boxing concept. I guess time boxing is from Harvard Business Review. Yeah, so estimation time, completion time. Put that, see for yourself, and analyze it. And then this Pomodoro, this commitment challenge, and everything, the energy barometer, everything that needs to work should be working. But then you have to work on it. That's what, or that you have to work on it. Now is the time where I would want all of you to think through. And if you don't want to unmute, it's okay. But if you want to unmute, pretty good. Uh, just one hack which you've learned in this last 45 minutes to 15 minutes of this session, where you think uh, any one thing, if you want particularly, you can drop a message in the chat and tell me that, Manpreet, definitely I'll try this. If something you've already tried, you can mention that, and something you got to know today, you can try it. Put it in the chat, or you can unmute. Both the things are open. I'm open to that. And tell me which one you think you swear by and you feel that, okay, of course, I would like to try this out. Yeah. Who would go? Sai, you want to go first?
Uh, See, yeah, just would like to just try that breaking into 4 quadrants. Okay. Because sometimes it takes very good time to just decide that. See, you just mentioned about the quarters, actually, the first, second quarter. Yeah, for the long run, that's gonna be good. Sometimes it is to be done for every day or for a week, actually, you have to do in order to just achieve your deliverables. Yeah, I try for 1 or 2 weeks. Then sometimes some work comes, like it just takes so much time, and that got vanishes. And you won't be a continuity. Then again, you remember, okay, my 4 quadrants, then again come back. So that sometimes which I just get dwindle in between. And sometimes I believe I have to just keep on my desktop as a screen snip or a background that, okay, this 4 quadrants, I have to just go over again. So yeah, so I have to just make that continuity and just work on like weekly or day by day. So that will be very much beneficial for a long run. Of course, you have to just break that into like month-wise or year-wise or the quarter-wise, that what you are going to achieve and what you would like to mention your performance when the bi-weekly or that half-yearly, quarterly, whenever your review is going to happen, so that you can see what you have achieved, what you not, and how. Yeah, slowly it improves over time, but sometime after some time again it breaks. So that continuity I have to just like impose onto myself, and so that I can go with that. That will be helpful for managing my tasks. So that I'll be just taking in for this.
Amazing, amazing. That's a good one, because if I relate it to myself, of course, the screenshot is very much required for me also. That's a reinforcement. But good. Thank you, Sai. Yogesh, you want to try? Or Kishan okay, I think Yogesh has put it in the chat. If I can see. 1.5 hours. Yeah, of course. Great. Thank you. Yeah, Yogesh, you want me to go back to that quadrant slide? Of course, I'll show you if you want. Yeah, this was the one. Anyone who would like to drop in something in the chat box? Mahendra, Prashant, Sachin, Seva, Surya. What do you think? Which one? Kishan, which one you think you would want to go? Which technique? Anyone?
There is one thing I would like to mention over to this. So
Yeah,
like
please.
now you have got very good tools in your Microsoft Office and with Outlook, like Loop and everything. So that makes your things very much easy. Even in your Outlook, you have a task. Okay, so
Yeah.
you can get that one into use. And from that, you can just get a very good time, because once you just get your task, I love striking the task once it's done. I really love it. I say it's done. So I just get the task and just strike it down. So I have a habit and just see, oh, so much task completed. And I really love to strike that one once it's over. And that just sometimes motivates me very good for the week.
Absolutely. That immediately gives you that dopamine. Oh, wow. The sense of achievement is there.
Yes,
Yeah.
that you can just use it. The tools are very good right now. So you can
Yeah.
use it even in the Teams. You can just right click and just because say sometimes what happens, you get your tasks or some deliverables in Outlook via mails, and sometimes now it's too much frequent that you get the things on your Teams. So getting the Teams and converting to tasks, sometimes it doesn't happen, but in Teams there is a feature where you can just add tasks to it, and you can right click and assign it to a task. So it just goes into that Outlook task or in the task folder and just makes your task there. And then you can go with that also. So you can see how many tasks you have completed per day if you have just got some requests.
Wow,
That's
that's a
very
new
good.
learning. That's a learning. I'll try it. Thank you. That's a great piece
Welcome.
of information you have given. Though I have learned few AI tools, but this is I was not aware of. This is only with Teams only. Amazing. Great. Good. Thank you, Sai. Thank you, Sai, for kind of giving this information and, of course, responding to my questions and throughout adding value to the program. So, thank you. I can see Yogesh mentioning something in the chat. Thank you, Yogesh, for validating and telling me. Thank you very much. But yeah, this was all about from today's session, and I would like to again thank you, all of you, to join in, whether it's in person, through through this chat, Zoom chat, or through live streaming. I'm sure you might be following certain things, or a few of the things, or all of the, even one of the hacks also. If you think you can do it, it would be great, and I'll be grateful. But thank you, team. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, my ID is, you can see the spelling here, Manpryt. I'm the only one with the spelling. You can follow me. I have good traction. I'm a content developer also on LinkedIn, so I have a good traction. More than almost like 11,000 people. They are following, putting a lot of content on skill development, time management, a lot of things on soft skills. So you can follow me. But thank you everyone for taking time out and joining this session. This is all from my side. Yeah, over to you, Patil, or over to you, Sarup, if you want to add something. Sarup, Suruchi, Patil.
Thank you, Manprit. Thank you for this insightful session. So I'm sure all the participants gained a lot of knowledge on this, and I'm sure they would be, we'll try to implement. I was also very keenly listening to this session. So
Thank you.
I personally sometimes I've tried the Pomodoro technique. So I think I'll try to use this Eisenhower Matrix. Let me try and do something on around that, and maybe in a couple of weeks, since we'll stay in touch, I'll maybe share some insights from my end. How some of these techniques help me personally. So
Definitely.
thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Patil. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you, Swaroop. Thank you, Suruchi. Thank you, Sai. Thank you, Kishan, Prashant, Sachin, Siva, and anyone who joined the live stream. So thank you. I guess we can.
Thank you. Good day. Good day,
Thank you.
everyone.
Good. Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.